Plans, 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 plans.
Okay, is this part of the video?
Yes.
Okay. On today's episode, we're talking about a plant-based diet, if you didn't get that from what Anita was saying.
Oh my gosh.
You know, is a plant-based, vegan, vegetarian diet adequate? That's a huge question that, you know, a lot of people ask. And as, you know, we're graduates from a university that studied vegetarian nutrition, like that's what they're known for internationally. I took a class on like contemporary issues of vegetarian diets.
It can get very controversial.
It really can.
Very, very deep for a lot of people. Very,
Yeah,
very
so we thought that we would touch on it.
just a little tap touch. So is a vegetarian diet or plant-based diet adequate?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
100% is adequate. Any healthcare professional who knows something.
But
There's a
you
but.
gotta do it right.
Right.
You gotta do it right.
Yeah, you have to plan. Like life, you know, we've done videos on meal planning. We talk about shopping on a budget. Like, you have to plan.
Especially guys, if you are one of those people that haven't really put a lot of thought and energy into what you eat, right? I feel like, okay, everyone's doing this like plant-based thing.
Like, I should do it too.
I mean, it's cool that you guys are kind of following that and like kind of letting the good things influence you, but at the same time, we want to make sure that you're doing it right and that you're allowing the good things to kind of happen for you, for yourself. First things first, a lot of people have a lot of questions on is the protein. Oh my god, where are you gonna get protein if you're not eating chicken and beans?
Yeah, so obviously we talked about protein being a part of a healthy diet. So protein is of concern for those who are on a plant-based diet. But it is possible for you to obtain the adequate amount that you need of protein, but that's by planning. So foods that are high in protein that are plant-based, of course, are beans, right? That's the one I was like, oh, beans. But you can't eat beans all day, right? So there's other things like nuts that you need to consume, you know, on a regular basis. And also we talk about beans. Let's like look at the broad spectrum of beans. That's a lot of beans.
Legumes, like lentils,
garbanzo beans, black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans. There's so many types of
white beans.
Right, there's so many types of beans that you can consume.
There's a lot of types of lentils even.
Right, there are.
They're pretty
and ways that you can prepare them, like, you know, do you want like a walnut ball, which has protein in it? Or do you want a lentil loaf? Or do you want to make a patty?
Tofu.
Right, tofu. So there's the soy base, you know, that's a huge controversy. Soy, like, what is a long-term effect of soy? But, you know, tofu obviously is a great protein source for those who want to do a plant-based diet as well. So protein, the big thing with protein is that some of you may or may not know, but the building blocks of protein are amino acids, right? So with amino acids, you need to have one here, one there, boom, they make a protein, we doing it. So if you get foods that have those particular amino acids in them that pairs make a complete protein, you're good to go. One famous, well-known example is rice and beans, right? A lot of cultures have this rice and beans or rice and peas, whatever you want to call it, in them, and that's very much essential because it is a complete protein when you put those two combinations together.
Another one is actually like bread or grain and peanut butter, peanuts.
Yeah,
that's another good one too.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't know that.
Yeah. So second of all, a lot of people have a lot of questions. If you do some research that talk about plant-based, you'll start to see that B12, vitamin B12 is an issue, and we commonly see this as being an issue with a lot of elderly people, right? And what this leads to is pernicious anemia. Pernicious?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. So if you have a deficiency in B12, what happens is things in your red blood cells have a hard time building themselves, essentially, right? So you want to make sure you have an adequate amount of B12, and also your nerves are affected by B12, right? You don't want to get to a place where you like can't feel anything or whatever.
Right. I can't feel.
So B12 comes in a lot of animal products, dairy products, things like that. So obviously, if you become more plant-based,
if you cut it,
B12 might be an issue. So here's the thing. B12 is probably pretty easy to obtain. There's something called nutritional yeast that a lot of plant-based people consume that have B12. There are vitamins that you can take. There are shots you can take if you are that extreme. But let me tell you something. Typically, it's very hard to be 100% vegan, right? There's always something that's gonna have kind of a little bit of something here and there that's gonna cross over in the kitchen that you really need some B12 from, right? Or that's gonna give you some B12. Now, if you guys are really, really worried about it and you've been plant-based for a while, I'd get blood tested. I'd see kind of where my B12 levels are.
Levels in general.
Yeah, just levels in general, just kind of see how it's working out for you. And if it's a problem, then maybe it's time to consider adding maybe a little bit of dairy here and there. You don't need much. Or maybe even taking a vitamin or a shot here and there, which is a thing a lot of people do. But like I said, nutritional yeast is a go-to kind of B12
like what people
situation when it comes to having that as part of your diet with plant-based food.
Right. So there's so many different nutrients that you could talk about when considering a plant-based diet, it being adequate. But today we just want to talk about two kind of famous ones, the protein and the B12 ones that you really need to focus on. If you guys want to know more information about, you know, having a plant-based diet is adequate. Anita practices a little bit more plant-based than I do. I practice plant-based, but I'm not 100% vegan. I have been in the past. My parents have been for like 15 years.
Yeah, and they're doing it.
No.
They are doing it.
When we have like the cultural edition down south, like you're gonna see they handle it. Like it's amazing.
Like nobody does.
Yeah, but my stepmom cooks all day. So, you know, these are things that you have to consider.
But you can also make it work if you have a full-time job, 3 kids, and a mortgage. Anyways, also one last thing we wanted to say is this. Just because you want to go plant-based doesn't mean that you can eat French fries all day.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, right. We still want to meet those food groups: vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and proteins. Right. We want to make sure that we have those foods together forever.
Yeah, because I mean that gets back to like, why are you going plant-based? Like, is it because your doctor told you to? Is it, you know, for environmental reasons? There's tons of different reasons.
Gotta do it for you.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, well, thank you so much for tuning in. We will have many more exciting videos to come. Hope this helps. Bye-bye.
Bye.